Welcome to Here. We invite you to discover the famous tales of the 1001 Nights, but with a modern touch. Using artificial intelligence, we are able to generate photos and text that bring these stories to life. Each video will take you on a new journey, discovering fantastic worlds, extraordinary creatures, and unforgettable characters. So sit back and let yourself be transported by the magic of the Arabian Nights, remodeled by AI. The quest for female vengeance.
Shahrayar, a powerful and determined sovereign of the kingdom, finds himself filled with bitterness after being betrayed by his wife. Her betrayal triggers in him a devastating anger, leading him to establish a draconian practice. Every night, he takes a new wife only to condemn her to death the following day. This cycle of revenge and sorrow consumes the Sultan's heart. Driven by pain and distrust of women, Shahrayar spirals into a tormenting abyss. In this context of despair and cruelty, the vizier, Scheherazade's father, faces a crucial mission. Aware of the dangers looming over his daughter, he decides to narrate to her stories rich in wisdom, both to entertain her and to instill moral lessons that may guide her choices in the face of a fatal marriage. Thus, the vizier becomes the benevolent narrator, seeking to enlighten Scheherazade on the path of prudence and wisdom, far from the fatal trials imposed by the Sultan. The donkey, the ox and the plowman.
A rich merchant, owning numerous properties in the countryside, decides to settle with his family on one of his lands to cultivate it himself. Endowed with the gift of understanding the language of animals, he cannot share his discoveries without risking his life. Among his animals, an ox and a donkey share a trough and start a conversation. The donkey listens patiently to the ox's lamentations about his hard agricultural work, contrasting with the peaceful life of the donkey. The donkey advises the ox to resist, to show his strength and not to let himself be mistreated. The ox, convinced, decides to follow the donkey's advice. The next day, while working in the field, the ox feigns illness and rebellion, encouraging the plowman to spare him. Returning to the trough, the ox rejoices in his trickery, while the donkey, now forced to take his place, endures suffering. The merchant, noticing the stratagem, replaces the ox with the donkey, which suffers mistreatment. However, the ox rejoices in his easy life and rests comfortably. Meanwhile, the donkey ponders his own situation. One day, exhausted, he collapses, regretting having followed the ox's advice. As the donkey revealed his ploy to regain his former position and informed the ox of the master's sinister plan to kill him if he did not return to work the next day, the merchant burst out laughing in the presence of his wife. Intrigued, she asked him for the explanation behind this laughter, but the merchant, fearing revealing his secret and losing his life, refused to give her satisfaction, leaving a heavy mystery in the air. The merchant, faced with a delicate dilemma, owned 50 chickens, a rooster, and a watchful dog. He was meditating on his wife's insistent request that he divulge a secret that might cost him his life. The rooster expressed his contempt towards the master, who seemed powerless in the face of his wife's stubbornness. Showing his own talents with his 50 hens, the rooster suggested a bold solution. He advised the master to enter his wife's room, lock himself there with her, take a strong stick and administer a severe correction. According to the rooster, this method would guarantee the woman's wisdom and put an end to her indiscreet questions. Intrigued by this idea, the merchant followed the rooster's advice. Armed with a large stick, he applied this strange strategy to his wife who, under the effect of the blows, ended up begging for mercy. After this correction, the repentant woman no longer asked indiscreet questions, and the family, relieved, congratulated the merchant for having found such an unexpected but effective way to remedy the situation. When the vizier threatens to treat Scheherazade in the same way, she persists in her request to become the sultan's wife. The vizier, although upset, ends up accepting. He informs the Sultan of Scheherazade's decision and agrees to present it, while accepting the sultan's condition to have it carried out after the wedding night. Scheherazade, grateful to her father, asks her sister Dinarzade to help her. She wants Dinarzade to wake her up an hour before daylight so she can tell a tale to the sultan. That night, Scheherazade enters the sultan's room, accompanied by her sister, and the tale begins.